Human rights are universal. This idea may sound obvious to us today, but in reality, it is one of the most revolutionary concepts humanity has ever embraced. The idea that every human being has inherent rights simply by being human was not always part of our political culture. These rights belong to people regardless of nationality, race, gender, or religion. They emerged after the darkest chapters of history, especially after World War II. The atrocities of genocide and mass violence made it clear that humanity needed a shared moral framework. In 1948, the United Nations adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It was drafted with the contribution of Eleanor Roosevelt, René Cassin, and Charles Malik. For the first time, the world agreed that dignity, freedom, and equality were not privileges granted by governments. They were inalienable rights belonging to all people. Article 1 of the Declaration states, "All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights." This principle is simple, and it is profound. It means that no government, no authority, no institution has the legitimate power to take away these rights. Since 1948, the Declaration has inspired constitutions, treaties, and social movements across the globe. It laid the foundation for legally binding agreements such as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. It also inspired the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. Both were adopted in 1966. Together, these form the International Bill of Human Rights. Thanks to these frameworks, we have seen major advances. We have recognized women's rights. We have dismantled colonial systems. We have fought racial discrimination. Human rights shaped the abolition of apartheid in South Africa. They inspired democratic transitions in Latin America, Eastern Europe, and beyond. But we must be realistic. The universality of human rights remains constantly under threat. Wars destroy the lives of civilians. Authoritarian regimes silence freedom of expression. Economic inequality denies millions of people access to healthcare, education, and decent living conditions. Even today, more than 700 million people live in extreme poverty, according to the World Bank. Millions more face hunger, forced displacement, or discrimination. This gap between the ideals of 1948 and the realities of our world shows us both progress and urgent challenges. The lesson is clear. Human rights cannot be defended by individual nations alone. When rights are violated in one country, the consequences ripple across borders. Refugees seek protection elsewhere. Conflicts destabilize entire regions. Poverty creates global insecurity. This is why we must move from declarations to stronger institutions. Imagine if the Universal Declaration of Human Rights had not only symbolic value. Imagine if it had the binding force of a world constitution. Imagine it upheld by global courts and enforced by international cooperation. That is the vision I propose in my book, United States of the World. In this vision, human rights are not negotiable based on national interests. They are guaranteed by global institutions empowered to protect them everywhere. Such a system would ensure that every child, woman, and man has access to education, healthcare, and justice, not as privileges, but as universal guarantees. It would mean that when war crimes are committed, accountability is immediate and impartial. It would mean that no one is left behind because of where they were born. Human rights are universal, but they will only become effective when the world organizes itself to defend them collectively. This requires courage. It requires imagination. It requires the will to build something greater than the sum of our nations. In the end, the measure of our humanity is not how we treat our own citizens. It is how we protect every human being on this planet. Let me know what you think in the comments. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more insights. And don't forget to check out my book, United States of the World. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.